Sales are one of the most essential parts of doing business. It's literally such a fundamental element to not only just our money-making ability, but our overall success as well. But it's also one of the most common pain points I see, especially in newer business owners, but in established as well, that they want to resist or avoid doing sales. So in this lesson, I'm going to answer the question, why do so many people hate sales? I'm also going to give you a framework to assess how effective your sales are right now and where you're at with your sales, and also give you my top 3 keys to being better at sales. So let's get into this lesson. I want to start by saying selling is actually one of the most helpful things you can do for your prospect. And that is because if you have someone that's coming to you and they have a problem that they perceive you as being able to solve for them, then you're actually doing them a disservice by not getting them to buy from you, by not selling your offer to them. If we relate this to you having a cure for a disease, just as your offer is a solution to a problem, you have a cure for a disease, and the cure for this disease could actually help save tons or thousands of people's lives. What are you going to be doing? You're going to be going out there telling as many people as possible about it. You're going to be shouting from the rooftops that you have this cure for this disease and that it works this way, and this is how it can help you. Encouraging people to take this cure because you know that it works. Of course, in our businesses, we're not saving lives, well, most of us anyway, but sales works exactly the same way. Your prospect has a problem, you have a solution, and it is up to you to convince them that they need what you have to offer. So if you look at your business and your offers in this solution-based way, which you've already gone through within this course, then if you have a prospect coming to you with a problem that you can help them with, it is your duty to sell them what you have. It is your duty to sell them your service, your product, your program, or whatever it is that you are selling. And if you don't do that, it's actually a really selfish thing because you're withholding the transformation and results that you could be getting for that prospect. So when you change this, or have this mindset shift around sales and actually see it as being really, really helpful, then there's no reason why you shouldn't love doing it and why you shouldn't be doing it all the time. This brings me to my first point to being better at sales, and that is confidence. So if you do not like sales right now, it is probably because you're either not confident in yourself or you're not confident in your offer. So when it comes to the self-confidence element, this can be problematic because if you aren't confident in yourself, your prospect isn't going to be comfortable in you and confident to buy from you. So people are only going to buy from you if they're confident in your ability to deliver on the promises that you're making. And if you are not confident in the way that you're selling or confident in yourself, that's going to come across the wrong way within that sales process. Now, usually a lack of self-confidence related to sales is going to come from a fear of rejection. So going back to our first lesson, being reframing our mindset and being aware of the cycles within fear and confidence, the only way to get more confident is to take action. And the only reason we have that fear is because we're perceiving that there could be a negative outcome from the action that we're about to take. So we're resisting and avoiding the potential pain of the outcome that we're projecting as a possibility of what could happen. So this could be something just like a simple no, or an objection, or us messing up our pitch, or saying the wrong thing, criticism, or something along those lines. These are all normal parts of doing business, and they aren't actually life-threatening and not something we shouldn't really be afraid of. But we do want to naturally try and avoid and resist these things because they are emotionally painful. And it is uncomfortable when you experience some rejection. It hurts. But the more that you get comfortable being uncomfortable and you stop resisting and avoiding that thing that you're afraid of, you'll actually start to develop the abilities to be able to sell more effectively and build your confidence around that. So there are things that we can do to actually help build up our self-confidence around sales. And it really comes down to us taking control of the situation and being aware of our own feelings. So one of the first things that you can do to be more confident or build self-confidence around sales is using good body language. So if you are slouched down and closed up physically, you're not going to feel confident and it's not going to come across the right way to the client either. So sit up straight, put your shoulders back, speak assertively, be the guide of the conversation, and show them that you're confident. The more that you act confident, the more that you will be confident. And it really starts with the way that you're presenting and the way that you're presenting your body language. The second is using the same tone of voice as the prospect. So if you have a prospect who is over the top excited and really high energy, then you're going to want to match that tone of voice and match that energy to them. And just in comparison, if you have a prospect who is a lot more mellow and casual and laid back, you're going to want to tone it down a little bit and go and speak at their level. This is going to help you have a more natural conversation with the prospect and make them feel like you understand them. It's just something to be mindful of, really reading the energy of the prospect, not going in there with super high energy if you have someone who is more mellow and casual, and not going into casual and mellow if you have someone who's high energy. So really just gauging what their energy is and then matching that with the tone of voice that you are using for that particular person. So tailoring the experience for each and every person. You also want to be aware of the thoughts that you're having around this confidence piece within sales. So if you have negative self-talk coming into your head when it's coming to the sales process, be aware of it, but don't let it consume you. So if you have some fears coming in around rejection, or that you'll mess up, or that you'll say the wrong thing, or they'll ask you a question you don't know the answer to, recognize that that is just a thought and it's not actually a reality, and it's only there to try and protect you from a potential negative outcome. But if you push through those thoughts and realize that they aren't real, they're just a perceptual thought that's coming through your head, be aware of them, but use these techniques to be more confident and believe that you're confident, and you will come off as being confident. You can also anticipate objections or questions that you may get during the sales process before it actually happens. So try and think of some things that people may ask you, and don't try and guess every single thing you're going to be asked. Regular or common objections that you do get, and actually come up with solutions beforehand, or have a plan of how you're going to actually handle that objection if and when it does come up. Same thing for questions. Prepare for those questions that you may get asked. Have the necessary answers already in your mind as to what you'll say when those questions do come about. So that can just help you feel more confident, because you know you have all bases covered. You're not going to always have every objection and question re-rehearsed or planned, but just knowing that you do have these solutions to come back to if you do get these particular objections or questions, it can really help. The last thing is just to simply listen. Just listen to what your prospect is telling you and take a note of some key words that they may be using. So for example, if I am doing a new website consultation and someone says to me that they would love a clean, modern, simple website that helps them get more clients. So taking those keywords and those phrases into mind, when I'm then doing my sales process to present my offer, I'm going to use those exact terms that the prospect used so that I can echo back to them what they need based on what they've already told me. And they may or may not be aware of these words that they've used, but me just echoing that back to them makes them feel heard, makes them feel that I understand and listen to them, and it helps build another level of trust. While you should be assertive and be the guide for the call, you also need to take some time to sit back and not just be talking to them, listening to what they have to say, but also when you are talking, not talking too fast and remembering to breathe. So if you are talking too fast, it's going to be overwhelming for the prospect. And if you don't breathe, you're going to lack oxygen to your brain and you're going to lose track of your thoughts. It's okay to take a breath. It's something that we sometimes forget to do, especially when we're nervous or we're feeling like we're in an uncomfortable situation. But simply just taking that breath while you're talking or just taking a moment to breathe is going to help you center your thoughts, get some more oxygen back to your brain, and help you feel more calm and confident and deliver on what you are saying and give you that ability to actually listen and slow things down a little bit more. Now, moving on to confidence around your offer. So if you're still struggling to get clear on what your offers are, I would encourage you to go back to lesson 2 and lesson 3, where we talk about how to dive deeper into who your ideal client is, and lesson 3 being developing your whole offer suite. But going back to our example about if we had offers that we knew that people needed and that we could really help them with, then we would have no issues in selling that because we would know that we would be helping and transforming people's lives. So if you are struggling with confidence around your offers, it may be because you aren't actually sold on the benefits and transformation that it's providing. So what I would encourage you to do is actually take a step back, do more market research, keep refining and developing your offers, and know that it is okay to change your offers. Your offers aren't set in stone, and these can change and develop as your target market and your business grows as well. You're the boss, so if you find that there's something in demand and something that you can help people with, don't be afraid to pivot your business in that direction, as long as you have done the research and have that understanding behind it. So with your offers, if you aren't feeling confident with your offers, you may not be clear on the transformation and benefits that that offer is providing, and you actually might not be sold on exactly how you are helping people with that. So take a step back, refine your offers, and make sure it is aligned to what your target market actually needs. Key 2 is communication. So when I break down communication in sales, I break it down into these 2 areas. The first being the process and the second being the value. So with both of these points, we want to be really, really clear as to what the process is, how we're communicating that, and also how the clarity around the value that the offer is providing. When it comes down to creating clear communications around the processes within the sale, this comes down to everything that happens for or that the client needs to know before, during, and after the sale is made. So this is everything from what the pricing is, how do they pay, how do they get started, what happens next, what's the roadmap to success, making it as clear and easy for them to understand so there's no confusion or minimal questions around what actually happens when they are a client or when they're making that decision process, because we want to actually minimize the amount of decisions that they have to make as they're making that main decision being whether they're going to work with us or not. So if there's a lot of gray area and they're not 100% clear, or you haven't communicated effectively what happens before, during, and after they become a client, there may be some gray area, there may be some questions, and that may affect their ability to make a decision as to whether they're going to work with you or not. You should also be trying to minimize decisions by only presenting a maximum of 2 offers to your prospect. Because if you overwhelm them with too many different options, again, it's going to be harder for them to actually make a decision. And this is why we really should minimize the amount of offers that we have within our business and make them really purposeful and effective, and have a process and roadmap around how we're actually selling them. If we relate this to when you're going to the doctor, you go to the doctor with a problem. They prescribe you some medication to fix that problem, and they tell you what you're going to take, how many times a day, how long for, and where to get it. They're going to prescribe you something, and they're going to explain exactly what you need to do in order to take that solution. This helps us build a lot of trust with our health professionals, because they are clearly guiding us to solve a problem. If you went to a doctor and you had a problem, and then they presented you with 6 different options for your treatment, you would probably become pretty overwhelmed and have a lot of questions and not be too sure which decision to make. And you would probably actually go and find a second opinion, because you wouldn't trust this person or this doctor that was giving you all of these different medications or solutions or options for your treatment. So think of it the same way when you're selling in your business. The prospect is coming with a problem, they need a solution, and you need to clearly be able to communicate the process for them to get from where they are now to where they want to be. So clarity around communication of the processes is really important. When it comes to communicating the value of your offer, you want to talk in benefits and not features. So if I am talking in relation to websites, the features would be the pages, the design, and the platform that we build on. The features would be how it actually helps my clients get more clients. It's totally normal and natural to want to talk about the features. We spend a lot of time creating these features within our offers, but you're going to get a better response if you talk in relation to the benefits, and always relate this back to the pain points, challenges, goals, and desires that your ideal client has, and also going back to that roadmap to success, how it's going to get them from point A to point B, which is the transformation and results that they're going to receive from working with you. So when you do it this way and you talk about the benefits, you tend to not have to sell hard all the time, because you're really just showing them how this offer, how this product or service can actually help them. And this is all about talking and communicating about the value of what you are selling. The third key to being better at sales is preparing effectively. So just like anything in life and business, lack of preparation leads to poor performance. So having a system and streamlined process around the ways that you're going to actually convert clients is going to help you be more effective in that sales process. Similar to what we have in terms of wanting to be able to clearly communicate the process of what happens before, during, and after the sale for the client, we also want to have that in place for our own internal processes. So if you do one-on-one discovery calls as your main conversion tool, you want to have or create a system for what, again, happens before, during, and after. So think about pre-call questionnaires so that you have an idea of what this client is coming to you with, so that you have points to discuss on your call and you can tailor it to their unique needs and actually save you time on that call by being able to prepare beforehand. Also setting up reminder emails and messages to decrease the amount of no-shows that you have. Again, saving you time and energy by people missing appointments. You also want to look at if you can structure the actual call itself in terms of what happens at the beginning, the middle, and the end. When and how you will actually pitch your offer. Are you able to transition naturally into the pitch or talk about your offer in a way that's going to be effective and that is going to be received in the best way by the person on the call? Also, what happens after the call? So if they decide to be a client, how do they pay? When do you send the contract? When do you send the invoice? How often do you follow them up? All of these things help us prepare. I keep coming back to confidence, but it really is key in sales, and confidence does come from practice and preparation. So when we have these systems in place, it gives us that space and energy to not have to worry about the logistical side and just focus on the client, focus on the prospect, and focus on converting them. So the worksheet within this lesson is a checklist that will allow you to actually audit your current sales processes. So I want you just to go through and tick the things that you are doing, and this will then give you some ideas around how you can actually improve that process. I've also added a couple of thought-provoking questions just for you to do some self-analysis on how confident you are in sales, if there's a reason why you're not, and just help you assess where you're at right now. So I hope this lesson has taught you something about sales. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, but otherwise I will see you in the next lesson.